Hello guys, today in this video we will cook very wholesome, very lazy crackers that you can surely use for avocado toast or just eat them on their own or snack on them along with salad or anything like that. And at the same time, of course, we will cover some very important subjects that I would like to not miss. So for the recipe, let's start with that. For the recipe, I will be using whole flax seeds, no blenders needed. This is all you need for the equipment. I will be using chia seeds. This time around I have white chia seeds, doesn't matter which ones. I will be using black sesame seeds. If you're looking for a source of plant-based, digestible calcium and other minerals, black sesame seeds are a little bit more wholesome choice than white sesame seeds. And another thing, I always look for the recipes to hide hemp seeds in them because I don't like smoothies, I like chewable things. So hemp, I already showed you the recipe with pancakes. This will be another recipe where we'll be putting hemp seeds, and I will add some nutritional yeast to give it some bread-like taste. And this nutritional yeast gives not cheesy flavor, it gives sourdough bread flavor that I really crave on most occasions. And like again, other nutritional yeast, it doesn't have this cheesy, dirty socks scent. And then I will also be garnishing these crackers with onion. Onions will be the most important flavor agent there, and dill. And as well, I will be adding some garlic powder and red crushed pepper just for spiciness. And I probably will add some sea salt as well. I was lying about the equipment because I will be dehydrating those crackers. If you're not on strictly raw diet, then you can of course throw them in the oven at the lowest temperature possible that they don't burn. But I am on raw diet and I will be using the hydrator. Temperature 113. I will be loading them overnight. So let us start chopping the fresh ingredients, and then we'll put it all in the bowl and mix. And the important things that I would want to touch up on while I'm chopping the things is, first thing is why I'm not using the blender for this recipe. And in fact, I stopped consuming nut butters altogether. The reason for that is that on contact with air, while you're blending, mixing, stirring those broken down seeds, these fatty elements, they start oxidizing, turning into inflammatory. And you can read more about this, of course, and make your own decision. And this will be the second point that I would want to touch up in this video. But I removed all butters, tahini, from my diet, and I opt for using teeth and nearly airless environment for chewing, blending the seeds. That's why we're using whole seeds this time. And you can probably, if you're doing fine tuning of your diet, you can probably feel the difference if you make a switch. And then another important topic that I already mentioned is that on this channel, I'm only here to give you the idea and inspiration for your own research and pursuit. What I am fully aware and comfortable with declaring is that we ought to follow the nature laws, and that's the main science that we all need to be learning. What nature intended for us, what path in our physical and mental development we should take in order to live the most balanced life in accordance to the global, this fundamental balance principle. So that's what I am looking forward. That's what I'm working my way towards. And these old things, food and stuff, they are just, natural evolution of my path, how I envision that. And another important thing, when you are looking at anyone claiming the absolute truth and you try to implement whatever they're doing yourself, you should be aware, and that's what modern scientists who willingly violate the ethics for the profits do all the time. They say that if something works for element A, it must work for the entire array of elements, regardless of the initial conditions of the problem, regardless of the previous experience of the problem, regardless of the expectancy of the outcome for certain elements, dependent on the previous observations on those elements. And when you're looking for repeating somebody else's path, you really need to come to their home, walk their path, follow their footsteps, and repeat exactly what they're doing in order to mimic the correct experiment that they are doing, for example, on their healthy lifestyle. That's why you need to be very critical and thoughtful when you are evaluating the videos or any information, any bloggers who are preaching the healthy lifestyle. Another thing is that we all come to this point with different initial conditions. Everybody's health is different. Everybody has different inclinations, genetic predisposition to certain conditions. Some people live with starting autoimmune diseases, some chronic diseases they live on the onset of, for example, diabetes and all of those things. So any step correction should be done only with thorough acknowledgement of all the conditions that exist for resolving the problem. This is a thorough scientific approach that you need to do. And I'm here to give you some helpful tools, perhaps, the ideas, the inspiration to go your way and find what works best for you. And of course, we'll cook together, we'll do some fun things. And let's chop the onion, because the onion won't chop itself. And I got very excited about speaking about all these things. And in fact, actually a continuation of that subject would also be very nice, because the illusion that many people get also by watching videos on healthy lifestyle is that people who preach that they live eating those fancy recipes, working out all the time, doing all those fancy things, when in fact, for some people, for example, blogging about making recipes, making videos about cooking and stuff, is their source of income, or it is their major hobby, and it is introduced in their lifestyle as an important resource bringing element. Whereas for you, you might have absolutely different hobbies like I do. And that's why I would want to also share with you some insights about what I eat in a day videos, and I'll put some recipes in this video, just some combinations of food that are not burdensome, because I work full-time job, I have project in Russian, I do art, I return back to making academic art, I do watercolors, and this is a very time-consuming thing, because whenever you strive for perfection, you really need to be patient, you really need to take your time, you really need to focus all your thoughts and intentions on this project, on what you're doing. And that's what I'm pursuing. And of course, focusing much on cooking every hour of my life is not a priority. So I figured that it might be interesting for you to learn more about what really people on raw diet eat, without all these embellishments, without always running dehydrator, blending something, mixing, and so on and so forth. So let me know if you would be interested in learning about that. And we can just walk through a very realistic picture of how to combine this lifestyle without any sacrifices in your creative realization, which is the top priority. We're doing this lifestyle, we're doing everything related to self-care only to have foundation that you won't notice, that will allow you to function as a creator in the most complete and efficient form. Because this, like, health and well-being of the body and mind are the priorities. These are the prerequisites for you being an effective creator. So we mixed those beautiful onion and dill, and now we can add salt, and this will make a trick. If you know, when you massage something with salt, it can be herbs, it can be vegetables, specifically cabbage is actually pretty cool. If you just chop cabbage and massage it with just a little bit of salt, it will give so much potent and very flavorful, nice juice. And this is what will replicate, but with onion. So we will massage it to get all the flavor out, because this food will be dehydrated. It won't be roasted, it won't be baked, it won't be fried, so we won't be breaking down the structure of our vegetables. We'll be just drying it out. That's why it's so important to get as much flavor out as possible. Oh, this made me cry. I actually didn't dry out my bowl, so we'll get this gigantic bowl here and we'll start mixing the dry ingredients, because the miracle of flax seeds and chia, as you know, they act as a glue, and there are some vegan enthusiasts who call it flax eggs. So let's not vandalize this on either concept of eggs or flax, and just add, I don't know, as much flax as falls out of the package. I don't know, it's all arbitrary how much you want. We have only one onion and bunch of dill, so I need to adjust the proportions such that I still have flavor in all this mixture. This goes here. Then we'll add chia. Chia is also a challenging thing to eat. That's why I'm always so happy to put it in crackers, something where it's masked. Then we will put black sesame seeds there. I buy them from my perk because I cannot find them in any retail store nearby. Let's make it a tribute to flax sesame seeds. I put a lot. That was my last portion. So then we will add garlic powder. Garlic powder, again, up to your taste, because it's strong. Some people have irritation in their throat when they eat a lot of garlic or whatever. We're putting onions, so there's no point in worrying if you're already opting to get onion, that your breath will smell. It will smell anyway. I'm putting red horse pepper, and then we'll add nutritional yeast. You can see this nutritional yeast is not stored properly. It's stored in a transparent container, and it likely lost some of its properties. But I get it here for taste. I supplement with B12, and I get other vitamin B from other foods. So it's fortified. Anyways, it's not naturally occurring vitamin B in that. Nutritional yeast. Then we're putting hemp seeds. That was fabulous. And now we'll stir dry ingredients. Look at this, beautiful. I think I added too much of everything, but these crackers, they will store well. And I hope that tomorrow it won't rain, so the apartment will remain relatively dry. And I would be able to actually dehydrate those crackers pretty well. Plus, I can also spread them as a very thin layer. I think we might add just a little bit more sea salt here, just a little bit. I'm actually trying to remove most of the organic minerals from my diet, but I don't care if there's just a little bit of some sea salt. Again, I might sound very extreme. I actually stopped eating lectin-containing foods because I was really pensive when I heard this is water. When I saw Dr. Gundry's advertisements everywhere, in every browser, at my work, everywhere, I saw his advertisement. Throughout the years, this person purchased so much advertisement space that it made me really uncomfortable, and I was mega skeptical. But this man is onto something, and I have experimental, empirical evidence that I have intolerance to at least some category of lectins. Lectin-containing foods are beans, tomatoes, then all nightshades, then actually a lot of grains are as well. And my personal nightmare are mulberries and quinoa and goji berries. So rule of thumb is that a lot of foods that come from Native American region are lectin rich. And if you have European heritage, you likely do not have capacity, body just does not recognize those proteins, and it triggers the antibody response to them. And this can be from negligible, having some accumulating effect, or it can be harsh. My body reacts to, I was very surprised when I established the relation. I know that I'm reacting very poorly to quinoa. I cannot eat large quantities of that. And quinoa, a bowl of quinoa can give me sleepless night. And the next day I have crumbs and I have no appetite at all. And when I tried mulberries and I had exactly the same reaction, I decided to check, like, what if? Because information about lectins started popping up to me as well. And sure enough, they both contain record amounts of lectins in their whatever subset they belong to. And that's why, also noticing, by the way, that I have aversion to cashews recently and all of those things, and plus I also have migraine response to a lot of beans, which is also an indicative of inflammatory response. I decided to just stop consuming them and see what happens. In general, lectins, as of Dr. Gundry, you should avoid foods containing lectins, which, to be fair, lectins break down, at least partially, to a large extent, upon thermal treatment. So you're relatively safe if you boil the beans very strongly, if you saute your tomatoes. Tomato sauce for pasta is fine. But if you are suffering from any autoimmune disorder, any oncological disease, anything related with inflammatory syndrome, and pretty much any chronic disease, you should get mindful. You should put some effort into researching foods that contain lectins and potentially try removing them and see what happens. So that's something that I have empirical evidence of me not being tolerant to those. So natural reaction is just stop consuming them and to share this experience with you such that you can also think about this thing. I will bring more water actually. You know my approach. If you make anything, crackers, for example, any dish, and you added too much water, just put some chia seeds or some flax seeds and let them sit. Because they release that gel that becomes a very nice glue. So we will need to wait a little bit for this mixture to react with water and become thick, because you see now it's relatively fluffy, and I want it to be very stuck together such that we can use mesh sheet for placing it in the hydrator, such that the crackers cook faster and they don't sit moist on the bottom on the silicone sheet. Actually, I just got an amazing idea for this, is to add apple cider vinegar. I already added just a little bit, but I want more. Because, look at this. You have something with savory taste, kind of bread. You have onion, you have dill. I mean, vinegar kind of fits perfectly there. So, let's just add more. Depend on your quantity, of course. I don't know how much of the mixture you have. And another thing that we'll do is we actually will add just a little bit more sea salt. This pack is very dangerous because you can get a ton at once. And my hands are kind of wet, so it'll get stuck to it. It started kind of gluing together a little bit more, but still not too much, surprisingly. So let's just stir it. And I prepared the hydrator sheets. Here, I prepared 2. I hope 2 will be enough. So I'm using the fine mesh. And let's start spreading mixture. Whoop. The thickness probably would be 3 flax seeds thick. Maybe more. It's chunky one, so it can end up being more. So these recipes are amazing because they allow you to eat things that you would normally not eat. I don't like mixtures of nutty, earthy seeds such as hemp, such as chia, such as flax with fruits. I prefer fruits separately, maybe with coconut cream or something from that palette, something tropical. And although seeds, they go kind of well with chocolate maybe, but there are also better ways to consume anything with cocoa powder. So the things that remain are, again, those banana pancakes with chocolate, because it's all warm palate, it's very comforting palate, and savory things where they just get lost. Their flavor is a very, very fine dash of anything on the back, sitting on the background, just highlighting the most potent ingredients that you're using. And here, of course, the major melody is being played by onions and dill and now vinegar. Of course, without vinegar it also would be really great, but it was a very improvised idea that I got, so that's how I cook. I never measure anything except for one recipe that I keep in secret. I have all exact measurements, and that's the only one that I am aware of how much of what is added. So we're spreading these, and actually I tried the mixture, let's try it. It's so tasty. Like dill, onion, vinegar. Boom, McDonald's. You can't go wrong with that. All formulas are there. And then imagine avocado, pumpkin seed, and let's say something sinful like balsamic vinegar, just a little bit, or balsamic glaze. It's so tasty. Did I already show you McDonald's patties? I didn't. I will eventually. So this sheet is covered. You can see the thickness. Do you see the thickness? Let me know in the comments if you saw the thickness. Or however professional bloggers make you write comments about. So timer is set to century, to a century, because it's 1:13. It's a very slow process of preparing food, but it's nighttime, so by the morning I will have those decadent, beautiful, wholesome crackers made. Let's start spreading this pile. So, in general, like, transitioning to raw diet is kind of easier, you know? I don't know. It's hard to tell. I actually have some things that I eat not raw. And I usually, like, once a week, I make lazy lasagna that consists of lentil lasagna sheets, and all the hardness of meat is coming from pecans. So if you're interested in that recipe, it's a really lazy dish to make. It can be a very good choice if you're a single man, or if you're a person who works a lot and doesn't feel like doing some finesse. At the same time, it's a very nice meal if you're looking for good nutrition. So you can really prepare it. It's cooked on the stove, even you don't even need an oven for this lasagna. And you can go chill while it's being cooked on its own. So I might show you this recipe if you're curious. And what else cooked do I eat? What else is cooked? I eat rice sometimes. I eat brown rice. I'm really keen on wild rice. Some people think that, especially raw foodists, they're like, oh, black rice, wild rice, you can soak it and it will be raw rice. No, it's not rice, it's essentially seed. But I recently learned that raw wild rice has not been a thing for centuries, because people who harvest it in order to prepare it for storing, to clean it up, they actually throw it in the fire pit. So it's cooked. It's cooked way more than any other rice. But I still enjoy it sometimes, occasionally. And it gives me a lot of pleasure when it's done right. Yeah, but I think it's not interesting to show you how I cook rice. Essentially, put it in the pot, I pour water, and put it on the stove, and I turn the switch on the stove, so the heat starts being supplied to the bottom of the pot. I wait for it to boil strongly, then I lower the heat and I wait, stirring occasionally so it doesn't stick to the bottom. In the meantime, while I was talking, the second sheet is fully covered, and then we'll do this. I have lipstick that's completely dry, and it's very hard to open the mouth. So if I look grumpy, it's because I needed to do some articulation exercises to make myself being able to navigate my mouth very well. So the spoon goes away, and this goes inside the dehydrator. So far, very nice, very tasty. Yeah. So, I actually went to the store real quick to pick up some papaya and so on, but the crackers have been in the dehydrator for about an hour and a half now, and we will need to try them. I already tried the mixture while it was moist. Let's see. So the edges are actually pretty dry already. It's so tasty. Dill, onion, vinegar, salt. Just remember that thing. You can mix it with pretty much anything fatty and proteiny, and never miss a tomato. It's so good. I might actually slice them now. Well, they're sliceable. And by the morning, they will be like legit cookies. So they will just fall apart. Not crackers, cookies, whatever. You can just pull them from this sheet in a nice rectangular-ish fashion. So this is my thing. I have 8 hours 50 minutes left on the dehydrator. So it's nice. It's them. Actually, if you are eating some protein-heavy foods, really nice to eat papaya right afterwards for enzymes. Papaya, pineapple. That's it. I hope these things are very versatile. You can make some raw soup if you're not strictly raw. Make non-raw soup, blend vegetables, make something like that. Make mushroom cream, for example, or just whatever your fantasy permits, or avocado toast will be amazing with this. Eat them with lettuce, avocado, and what else will go well there? Maybe sprouts, if you want to prioritize like healthy direction. And what else can go well with these? They're so self-sufficient, in fact, that I think you really won't need anything bright in terms of taste. I think I could have been a little bit more generous in terms of vinegar, so try it yourself, because I would really want to add something sour and watery. So maybe cucumber will go well with sauerkraut. That's bingo. With sauerkraut, lettuce, avocado. That will be my selection. I don't have those ingredients now. I need to go to the store get some groceries, but this is the long part of the recipe of the meal. So gotta take care of that. Thank you for watching. Leave your questions, comments below. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you really liked my video. Check out the other content and press notification button if you wish to receive notifications from me. And if you have any questions and requests for topics for me to cover, please do not hesitate to write them down in the comments. And as well, if you're interested in my art, I haven't put the watercolor works yet. I sent them out to frame them. But go to afwonderland.com website and check out my acrylic paintings and graphics as well. And you can let me know what you think. And as well, there is the contact form. If you don't want to leave public comments, feel free to leave any questions or comments in the contact section provided on my website. Thank you very much and have a nice